If you ask any treasure hunter who has been at this for a while what the most terrifying thing they've seen in the forest is, there's one location that comes up more often than not. It goes by many names: the fall, the pit, the well, the quarry. Despite its many names, it's always described the same way. The ground ahead of me had a slight decline, the descent eventually opening up to a massive hole as wide across as 10 score men lying foot to head. I got closer to see what might be down there. Every step forward filled me with vertigo that I might fall in at any minute. I couldn't see to the bottom, but I heard it. 1,000 hammers tapping against 1,000 chisels. Plink, plink, plink. Well, here the stories diverge. Some say there are miners down there, looking for gold, silver, or precious gems. Others say sculptors, crafting idols and rare artifacts for their chthonic gods. Whatever's down there hasn't seen the light of day for hundreds or thousands of years, and anything brought back would surely be a unique trophy, capable of fetching a sizable sum. Oddly, though, the precise location of this vast opening never seems to be identified in the same place. Some say it is only a few miles off the south bank of the Nave River, while others place it well to the north, nestled in the depths of the forest. These conflicting reports can almost certainly be attributed to the disorientation nearly all treasure hunters suffer after time spent in the forest. But tonight, this so called disorientation has eluded two specific hunters, and they now stand on the precipice of this quarry, waiting to seize their very own trophy. Hello to anyone watching this. You are watching a game that was arranged through the Gauntlet, which is a community internet that gets together, plays story games, indie games, role-playing games specifically. There's a link down below, gauntlet-rpg.com. They have a blog. They have recently open forums, podcast network, most quite importantly, a zine that they put out every month. More on that later in regards to this game, and the Hangouts chat, the Hangouts chat calendar. There we go. The Hangouts calendar where they arrange a lot of games, which this one has been arranged on that calendar as well. This game in particular is Trophy. It is a dark fantasy horror game of doomed treasure hunters going into a hostile environment. We normally a forest, but other supplements have expanded it to ruined mills, deserts, and now a quarry of some sort. This is not a tale of adventure and daring do. This is a horror story with everything that entails. So before we jump into the tale of our doomed treasure hunters, let's get to know our players first, the people here, just so we all know who we are. First off, my name's Leandro. You see him pronouns, and yeah, that's me, I guess. That's it. I have nothing else to say except a lot because I'm running this, I guess. There we go. Me adding more sentences. Yeah. So yeah, just introduce yourself and your pronouns. If you have anything you want to shout out, go ahead. I'll turn to you first, Dan.
Hi, I go by Dynamoon Online. I use she, her pronouns. I'm always enjoying Leandro's ramblings. And the only thing I want to pimp out is I also play games on Sundays on I Need Diverse Twitch stream, which is twitch.tv/INDG. We're a group of people of color of different sexualities playing tabletop role playing, preferably indie stuff. So come check us out for more awesomeness.
Lovely. I'll put a link down there for anyone who wants to check that out. And yes, and up next, Clint, please introduce yourself.
Yeah, I'm Clint. I use he, him pronouns. Ask me about my pyramid scheme. I have nothing to plug.
Pyramid schemes. That sounds interesting. Okay, no, it's fine. All right. So before we just open up to where our two treasure hunters are on the precipice of this quarry, let's talk about safety first because we want to make sure that we are playing in a comfortable environment, especially in a game of horror and whatnot. So our safety rules include lines and veils. Basically, lines are things that won't be crossed, won't show up in the fiction at all, just no go. Veils are things that can happen in fiction, but we're not going to concentrate on it. We're not going to where it can happen in fiction, but it can happen off screen, or we can just pass over it or just fast forward through it, and it'll still happen, but we are not going to focus on it. We also have the X card for today, which basically, if we get into a scene that's quite uncomfortable, and it might and probably can get uncomfortable, given again we're dealing with a horror game. But if it gets too much for some folks, and that's perfectly fine. No one gets to question if the X card is played, or if it's played. I might ask what is being X carded, which means you say in the chat that you want to X card that, want to use the X card. There's also one in the dice roller room, or if you make the X symbol on the camera on screen, and then I'll ask what is being X carded. No one gets to question it. We'll roll back and start over. And finally, we have an open door policy on this table, which basically means if for whatever reason anyone needs to step away, whether there's an emergency, or you're more tired than you think, or you just want to break, need to pee, you can call it out at any time. Even if, I don't know, the doppelgangers of your loved one's best friend's dog is attacking you and trying to bite your ankles off. Even in the middle of that, if you really need to pee, that's perfectly fine. You can call that and you can move away. I'm not foreshadowing anything that's going to happen. I don't nothing about that. Maybe I'll just write that down. All right. So as mentioned, Trophy is a game about dark horror fantasy. It's found in the Codex scene, which is published by the Gauntlet, specifically Dark 2, which is issue 28. If you want to check that out. Specifically, we are using one of the supplements here that's found in issue 31, the one called Screams. So that's a fun, lovely issue. The incursion we're using is called Mother. It's written by the writer of Trophy, Jesse Ross. Put a link to if he must be on Twitter. I hope so. Otherwise, I'm babbling for no reason. Okay, so that's where kind of all the stuff is found, and that's where this incursion, specifically Mother, is found. So let's start at the very start. Let's just open with the two of you in front of this quarry. We can decide on whether you two know each other or not. But I want y'all to describe me what's like the first shots we see of your characters, and I kind of want an inkling of, because part of trophies you have rituals, which magic spells of weird nature that kind of like up a person's ruin / connection to mysterious, and it kind of, I wouldn't say it warps them, but it there's usually like maybe a sign or whatnot. But let's just start with what do we see of each character as they're kind of standing on the precipice, and then maybe I'll ask a few questions if you two know each other or how you two got into this expedition. But yeah, let's get like the hero shots, you turn a comic book panel after some shots, and then we see what they look like in their full regalia. So start with the player number 1 sheet, actually, with Clint's character.
Okay.
So what do you foresee of? I'll let you take it away.
So I think we see Eli. That's me. Come pressing out of the forest, out of the trees. He's really he pretty much lives in the forest, so he's pretty raggy and wears raggy clothes, disheveled, unkempt appearance. A little bit older, so a lot of gray hair, scars on his face and hands. You can just kind of see as he pushes the branches and stuff out of the way of the forest to get to the quarry.
Nice. All right, he sounds determined. I think just to describe the opening shot of the quarry, I think it does look incongruous. It's clearing in the forest, and it's the grass and the trees have been leveled to create this rocky, just this rocky clearing. You can see this kind of like a bank of rock and dust and sand with an opening to it, like how you'd enter a mine, like just rickety open hole. There's like strands of red sand along the quarry, and they're all kind of like tendrils leading towards the opening of the quarry. So we've seen Eli. What do we see of their companion for this upcoming journey?
Mahera is a little bit younger. She's well dressed in mining gear. Like it looks like maybe bought secondhand, but still like pretty put together. And it looked like she was coming like as if she was following the perimeter of the outside part of the quarry. So that's how she enters in, looking um kind of like, sorry, the coffee hasn't kicked in.
No worries.
um Looking as if like she's expecting more people maybe, or more like she knows there's supposed to be like maybe a gathering or something. So she's a little closed off and walking towards the entrance and catches sight of the red tendrils and doesn't step on that part of the sand,
All right.
and regards Eli once she sees him.
I'll give you this moment to like chat because it doesn't seem like you two came here together. So I'll give you this moment to chat.
What are you doing here, girl?
Probably the same reason you are. Were you hired? Oh, or did you just stumble here? I don't
Heard the
think anyone would.
rumors.
I didn't think anyone would hire anybody looking like you do.
You'd be surprised. Heard the rumors. Thought I know every inch of this forest. Apparently, except for this.
And she looks around and kind of frowns, like as same, like has that look of like, yeah, like I didn't expect to see this big quarry here. I've heard the rumors too, and someone in town, they were looking for someone to check this out and see if it's feasible, and well, the pay was good.
Pay is better if you work for yourself.
Yeah, but it won't get me to my end.
Well, just kind of shuffle over to the quarry and start looking down. What?
You can hear a faint sound, just tiny. It's tiny. It's just a little. Just if you have to strain to hear it, but it's unmistakable. It's there. You also find some convenient rope gear because when you go into the hole, it's a hole going down into the ground. You see like more veins of like brown rock and granite in the gloom, but there is a faint like again the faint plinking down there, but also like you see more of like that red clay kind of like on the walls, um and there's like no, I'll not say there's light, but there's a luminescence to the clay, and like you can see the hole where the quarry kind of like sprouted from going and going. And again, convenient rope gear.
I take it this isn't yours. The rope.
Not mine.
Maybe it was. Well, I'll make it easier. And since it doesn't seem like you were hired by any rival people, do you want to do this together? Check it out?
Might as well.
I mean, better in numbers, I think.
Yeah.
The name's Mahera.
Eli.
Good to meet you, Eli. Age before beauty, and she gestures down like down towards the hole.
Okay. So there's the rope that's leading down, right? What is it affixed to again?
It's affixed to kind of like the floor in front of you, leading down to this shaft. It's like it's not just a rope. It's like there's a harness. It's a rappel. It's like it's climbing gear.
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of been left here.
Yeah, it's probably better than whatever I've got. So I'll put one of the harnesses on, and you said there's a ladder, or
No.
no ladder. Okay. Yeah, so I'll just put on a harness and kind of test the rope, tug at it a good bit, and then start trying to maneuver down into the quarry.
Okay, so since you're so to speak taking the first bullet, this is going to be a risk roll, and how well you do will kind of determine if Mahera needs to do a risk roll for this as well. So how rolls work in Trophy. When you attempt a risky task, say what you hope will happen and ask the GM and the players what could possibly go wrong, and then we will try to make a dice pool. Quite a bit of this is taken from Blades in the Dark, but yeah. So what do you hope will happen?
I hope the rope will support my weight, and that it will last long enough for me to get down to whatever is interesting in this quarry.
All right. I'll ask you, Mahera, what could possibly go wrong? Besides the obvious, probably.
Besides the obvious of the rope snapping halfway down, that when he gets to the bottom, he's not alone. There's some sort of creature. Could be as small as a rat, or something as big as whatever's making that clicking sound.
Could be. All right. So if the task is something you're skilled at because of either your occupation or your background, take one light colored die. You said you had rope for this sort of thing, and I see you're skilled at traveling, so I'll allow that. I'm being nice at the start. So you started one die, one light color die. Basically, for the roll for your party, it's the D6 that's not the pips, so with a number on it. Basically, D6, the one that doesn't have P next to it. Yeah, so you get one die. You can take another if you accept a devil's bargain from either me or a player. Basically, a devil's bargain is there will be a complication, but you get an extra die. The complication will still happen, and it might make things worse if you fail your roll, but you get an extra die anyway.
I'm gonna hold off on devil's bargains for now, so I'll just take my one.
Or you can add a dark colored die if you're willing to risk your
and
mind.
then I get ruin if I.
Well, what happens is if you roll above, if you roll above 2, then you'll get ruined. So you want to take just your one die?
I think so. Yeah, just what could possibly go wrong?
Yeah. Okay. All right. You just had to say it. You just had to say it. Oh my god. All right. So 1, 2, or 3, you fail and things get worse.
Is there any way I could help soften that?
No. No.
Darn.
So what's gonna happen is you try to you rappel down, but this rope that you have, it's actually far looser than you probably expected. So what's gonna happen is you try to go down, but the rope just slips and lets you slide down faster than you probably thought possible. And amidst it, your body's kind of grinding against the cavern wall, and you can feel like as your face is kind of brushing against the wall, suddenly your face kind of like brushes against this red clay, and you're feeling discomfort and whatnot. But for a moment, when you brush against the red clay, suddenly it's for a split second, just a split second. Suddenly, all tiredness washes away. Suddenly, you feel peaceful. You feel warm and collected. Only for that split second, when your body brushes against the red clay, and then back to grinding against the walls, back to comfort, all that peace wash away, and then suddenly, because these tendrils, they kind of snake around, so you kind of keep brushing again, so it's this disorienting feeling of peace, then pain, peace, pain, peace, pain, until finally, like, you're finally, there's an opening in the cavern wall, and you can just barely kind of like cling against to it. The rope is still kind of there, and Mahera, you probably heard the grinding and the but
Yeah.
but Eli manages to find an opening in the wall. It's small, and you can only crawl through it, but he's fine.
I shout down like, Eli, are you alright? Are you still alive?
Still alive. Rough landing, but it's working out. Come on down.
Oh, yeah. Oh, sorry. Before we actually, no, keep going. Sorry.
Well, my original plan was to use project to to the ground floor to see how it looked.
Ooh.
So I definitely want to do that now to make sure, one, that things okay, and yeah.
Okay. Before we do that, I think that feeling of peace is. I'm gonna need a ruin roll from you, Eli. So you just roll the one dark die. The pips there.
Okay, so roll one of the pip ones.
Yeah. All right. So yeah, your ruin goes up by 1. You're now up to 3. And I think that feeling of peace, that happens now, kind of like when you touch against the red clay, and you can hear the plinking harder, and you can hear, like, the plinking, and you can kind of recognize it's something hitting against rock. But you can hear it quite clearly from where you are in this small opening. So, Mahara, you want to project? All right. So I think, let's see. Let me look up actually rituals, because I know you get at least 1 light die because you're using a ritual and you know it. You get if you want a devil's bargain, that as well. But you must have a dark die when you roll a ritual. So you'll get 1. Do you want a devil's bargain?
No, I think it's still a little too early.
Okay.
And then for the dark die, I want that needs to stay low as a roll, right?
Yes.
Okay.
You don't want it to roll higher than your current ruin.
All right. So then, okay, so below 3 for me. Okay. Come on. Damn it.
Well, no, it has to be higher. Wait, well, how much do you ruin? No, you're fine. If you roll equal, your ruin
I
stays
know,
the
but I
same.
failed the ritual, don't
Oh,
I?
you failed it. Yeah, that's the thing as well.
This is a
Okay.
great start for us.
Yeah. So tell me, how does it look when you do this ritual?
Generally, because of my background, a lot of my abilities to rituals is just like a certain form of chanting and like hand movements. So it's for the sake of it, I closed my eyes and was like chanting under my breath and doing the hand movements. And usually it just feels like when I open my eyes, I'm wherever I wanted to project myself at. And buh, 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 buh. Yeah, so it's a spirit form of me. So I guess depending if people can see spirit forms, they might see like a faint glow of me. And generally that's what happens. Like it's a basic ritual from how I grew up.
Okay, so I think you close your eyes and you project your spirit, and you're trying to find the bottom of this chasm, but you feel your spirit wrenched into another direction
Ooh.
as you're kind of floating, and suddenly when you open your eyes, you feel you're inhabiting something. But have, let me ask this: have you ever inhabited an inanimate object?
By accident.
How did it
And,
feel?
like, when I first started learning, like, as if I couldn't move and couldn't breathe.
Yeah, so add another tally to the list of times that has happened, because when you open your eyes, how stone doesn't feel, so you just feel nothing, no breath, no warmth, no, you just open your eyes and you just see you're inside this kind of like small chasm, and you can there's a again the luminous of the blood red clay, and you're actually staring into Eli's eyes,
Oh,
and you can see him, um you can see him like dirty, dusty, covered in clay and and rock and whatnot, and but you can't, you're stuck in this one place, you're frozen there, and it's gnawing at your spirit. For you, Eli, what you're staring at is kind of like, um when you kind of call this chasm, you see this chasm, it kind of turns to the left and angles downwards, like you can crawl through it, but bursting through the wall is this kind of like this this statue, this granite statue, arms kind of like they're crawling out, and you can see that it has Mahera's face on it, um, staring at you. And then, well, first off, Mahera, I need you to make a ruin roll, because being stone probably doesn't feel good.
yeah. Ooh, okay. Only a 1.
Okay, cool. So yeah, ruin stays the same.
Yeah, I think
So
am I able to control going back into my body, or is it
yeah, I think because because you managed to stay strong, I think what happens is you feel that if what feels like an eternity of being in that stone statue, and then blink, and then you're back in your body.
So,
That's
yeah,
in yeah.
I will
Let's
cast
actually
for breath.
yeah. Actually, when you blink out your body, you're harnessed to the rope, and you're already in the middle of
Oh,
going
shit.
down.
Okay, yeah, that'd be really freaky. So I'd still be gasping for breath and I'd be clinging on the rope, like, and thinking, how, what? This is a first? Like, usually I don't tend to move when I'm projecting. Um,
Yeah.
and
And you
in a shaky
yeah.
voice, I'll be calling out to Eli, like, I'm coming down. Like, yeah.
I think Eli, the statue with Mahara's face disappears. Like you blink and it's not there anymore, and it's just a small crawling chasm going downwards.
Huh. Okay, I wait for her to catch up.
Yeah. I would say as well, if you try to like throw stones to go to see how far the chasm goes, you won't hear it you won't hear it at all.
But it's like narrow enough that we can like crawl or shimmy down. Uh, we don't need to rappel down it.
The in the chasm you're in, as in the small chasm in the hole you're in, yeah, I think the two of you can crawl. It'll be a bit of a tight fit. The two will be there, but you can see like, yeah, the way the chasm goes, it kind of goes downwards as well. But at least you're not out in the open.
Right. Okay. So I'm gonna wait for her and kind of show her this this cavern, I guess, or not cavern, this cave or indentation.
It's more of a crawl space.
Yeah. So yeah, I'll show that to her, and we could move through this. It'd be maybe a little safer than a straight drop.
Yeah, I think that'd probably be best. Like I say, as like maybe just as I get to where he is, and having gone very slowly, because like yeah, that failed projection really freaked me out.
All right, so I think as you're well, tell me if you want to talk to each other as you're kind of crawling, but I do have some questions, kind of like as you're crawling down. So, Eli, you've been around the block, been around places. What stories kind of have you heard about this vein of bloody red clay? Do you know like any legends about it?
Also, like everyone else, I've heard no one comes back from it. But I've heard that the original miners, when they started digging the quarry to begin with, that they had heard local legends and rumors that there was a species of creature that lived down there, and that they had all perished and left all of their great wealth and treasure is down there with them when they passed.
All right. Um, for you, Mahera, since has there ever been a place like? Have you ever been to a place like this before, where it's just dark and tight and cramped in your time?
Yes, in the old cult that I grew up in, they had a special room that was they claimed it was a room to where you're supposed to contemplate yourself and your place in the grand scheme of things, but a lot of us had considered it more of a punishment room, where it was this dark and tiny and could not tell time until like the elders determined that we were done contemplating. And that could take from a couple of hours to nearly a week. And it was a place she was in a lot and did not like.
Well, at least you have company this time.
Yes, company.
Yeah.
And
So I
able
think
to move a little bit, even if it's just like crawling forth inch by inch.
yeah, at least yeah. There's you can crawl forward. You're not stuck in one place. Yeah, but so you're crawling through like this pocket in the wall, and I think you can hear it faintly, Mara, but for you, Eli, it's quite distinct now. You can hear the plinking of hammer on rock, like chisel on rock. It's a rhythmic tapping,
Hmm.
and it's kind of it's not growing louder, but it's a steady rhythm. Um, one So, and also you feel like in this crawl space, it's surprisingly warm. It's quite warm. It doesn't feel like cold, dead chasm. There's a warmth to the earth. So that's kind of like the steady rhythm of the plinking, the tight space, the warmth of the earth. There's a strange comfort to all this. But I'll ask each of you like what's the comfort you almost find, because you're kind of in these paths for a while. Start with you, Eli.
Do you hear that sound, Hera?
Oh, good. I thought it was only in my head.
Why would it only? Uh, uh, sorry, Leandro. What was the last thing you said before?
I said the steady rhythm, the warmth of the earth, and even the tight, intimate space. What's kind of like, what's kind of like, is there like, what kind of comfort are you drawing from this kind of place? Because there's not much happening besides those as you two are crawling.
Yeah, it's not as bad as I thought it would be. It's it's warm. There's not a lot of caves in the forest, but they're usually not this warm. It's actually kind of nice.
I almost agree with that. I don't care much for the tightness of this space, but we can't be choosers about this thing. Yeah, it reminds me of an old friend. The warmth. They had a lodge at the edge of the forest a long time ago.
It reminds me of something too, but I can't remember.
Do you think it's a natural sound that we're hearing?
Hmm. I don't know what
I've never been through this is probably my first cave.
could be water, maybe dripping from. I don't know, something.
That is possible.
All right. So I think what's happening is you kind of crawling through this. It's like nice warm space. Speaking of warm, I think we're gonna take a small break because we're here for an hour. I like to take breaks every hour. Also, I need to turn off the heater because it's actually really warm over here. If that's okay, so we'll leave it at a nice spot. Crawling and becoming buds.
The last nice spot we'll ever have.
Maybe. Who knows? Yeah. Let's take 5 and I'll grab some water, take a break and whatnot. I'll see you in 5. All right, welcome back to the two of y'all. All right, so last we left Eli and Mahara. They were crawling through this tight crawl space into the dark. I think as you're kind of crawling, time kind of like almost loses meaning, but you find that it's not just one path. You find that there's like a lot of like other different ways. Most of them lead to dead ends, if you notice, but the crawl space does get wider. But you get the feeling that as you're kind of crawling through, you're kind of slowly getting deeper and deeper, but the ground underneath you is starting to feel thin. As if like the very soil underneath has been chiseled away, and you can still hear that going. Almost kind of underneath you. I'm gonna need someone to guide their way into the not the paths that could cave in or whatnot. Who wants to volunteer? Both of you are guides. I've just noticed that.
What do you mean by that?
Basically,
someone to take point, essentially.
Yeah, to take point. Yes, to make sure like you don't enter like a path that's either like about to cave in or could cave in underneath you, like just to feel out the area.
Mm-hmm.
I'll roll. I'll try.
All right, cool. So, yep, you're a guide, skilled in traveling. We are still gonna count traveling for this. Even if this is your first cave, you're smart. I mean, I'm sure you're all capable people. Of course, yeah. And when you fail, it's not the fault of your clumsiness and whatnot. It's just the circumstances and the world around you.
Okay, so just the 1d6, correct?
Yes. I can give you another die if you want to accept the devil's bargain.
No.
No one trusts the devil here. Why not?
No, I just don't trust you, Leandra.
Okay. Wow.
And there, look, a 6.
Okay. All right. Cool. Okay, that's good. That's very good. So describe to me how like you take point and direct the two of you. So that you don't get
right.
So you don't end up in a cave in or whatnot.
So normally, I think what Mahera would have done was to do some more projecting, but she's still a little freaked out from the previous projecting, and does something kind of similar. It's not actual ritual; it's just like gut instinct, where she closes her eyes and concentrates and like tries to listen. It like kind of like tracking, like nature tracking, and just gets the sense of like as she puts her hands down like on the warm earth part. Okay, it seems like we're like, heading in this direction, and this direction would be better. So, like half the time her eyes are closed because she's mainly feeling and hearing, than relying on whatever little light we get, presumably to find the way. And like throughout it, she's just telling like I think this is the like this seems stronger over here or over there.
Nice.
Do we have torches, by the way?
Well, we can retroactively say you have torches. I don't think you were going to go into a quarry without any torches.
Yeah.
So I'm just kind of trying to establish how we're doing this torchlight. I don't know what the tech level is, if we would have anything else like lanterns. But...
Oh yeah, good idea to know what the tech level.
Yeah. This is kind of like low fantasy. This setting that at least that's rolling in my head, so that's why I thought torches. That should be fine. But if you want lanterns, again, I don't think anyone's gonna come after us for being like, oh, you didn't do this curtain right.
Yeah, because I think for sure Mahara did prep for like a cave like exploration, like minor things, but it is her first time, so it's like not completely like what would be absolutely best. So, yeah.
Yeah, I imagine I only have torches. I'm pretty minimal, but yeah, maybe you have a lantern.
Yeah, I think I have like a small lantern that like is being cumbersome because we have to like place it ahead and then crawl to it and like keep placing it ahead. so it's been slow going. But I've also I think I'm also using the lantern a bit like a canary, like placing it ahead to make sure it doesn't like suddenly collapse or fall through, along with
Nice.
like my sensing and gut
Nice. And
feeling.
I think because you're traveling quite well, I think you feel the crawl space opening up, and as you're directing the two of you to kind of the right path as you're feeling your way through the earth, um, you find that the path you're leading to, the space is getting wider until the point that the two of you can actually finally stand.
You sure seem to know your way around here. Sure you've never been down here before?
I'm pretty sure. I just think I have a knack for finding open space.
Hmm.
And like you can see my hair like relax even more, like, oh, like now that there's room to breathe, everything. And she dusts herself off and checks like she didn't drop anything from the crawl or whatever.
Yeah,
But
and oh, go ahead.
go ahead.
I was gonna, and I'm almost the opposite of like that. She's like enjoying the space, and I'm kind of trying to shrink from it.
Hmm. Is it because Mahara is used to being in a dark space?
A little bit, yeah. But Mahara also prefers not being enclosed, especially after being enclosed in stone for what seemed like an eternity.
Hmm. Speaking of stone, as you're kind of walking, and you kind of enter this like fairly big cavern, and it's weird because I mentioned luminescence before, but you can all see it. This kind of cavern, it's crisscrossed with those lines of blood red clay. Now, obviously, to you, Mario, the blood red clay is just it's just red clay. But to you, Eli, you kind of feel that sense of contentment, of peace. It's a tingle. You're not feeling it, but it's a feeling calling to you. And as you kind of walk forward in this cavern, you see quite in the middle of it, there is these two pieces of rock. Actually, no, three. Well, what you see is there's this arm. It's a small arm carved in granite, exquisitely carved in granite. Like it, like musculature, fingers. They look like almost like microsurgically managed to replicate an arm through rock, and it's clutching a well-worn hammer, like hammer almost kind of like down to the nub. And if you look just a bit further, well, there's another piece of rock, and it's a head. It's again beautifully carved. Like it's like artisans who dream of carving this child's head um, quite well. And this child looks happy. It's smiling. Actually, I'll ask each of you this smiling child's face. What do they remind you of?
It reminds me of my life before I was lost in the woods.
What was your life like?
It's hard for me to even remember it. So it's more just just flashes of feelings of safety and of belonging.
What about you, Mahara?
It reminds me of the new recruits when they're enthralled by what the stories that the elders tell them before they learn the truth.
Ooh. The thing to note with this statue as well is because it's so beautifully carved, and you've all been out and about. You'll know that if you can find a statue that this is this nicely carved, it's unbroken, it pays quite a bit. Um, do the two of you like not say anything as you see this? This is not like a horrible thing to see, so I'm not gonna make you roll a ruin roll on this. I don't know, but
So yeah, so this is clearly a human child in or human people, not strange creatures.
no, this is clearly a human child's head.
Yeah, all right. Thought this would have been it would be centipede people that live down here or something. But I don't know. Maybe this is something that somebody brought down here. I don't know. But we could probably
Why?
fetch a good bit for it.
Yeah, I mean, I rarely run into this kind of skill in town, but it's
How
just so
heavy?
strange.
How heavy is it?
It's the first thing you notice when you touch it is that it's warm. It's quite gently warm, and it's surprisingly not that heavy. It's about as heavy as a head, um, so to speak.
Hmm. I can carry it.
So like 8 pounds if
Yeah.
Jerry Maguire said correctly. um, Mahera nods like okay. Um, she's gonna go
Put it in the pack.
towards the arm and hammer thing.
Mhm. And the hammer's well used, but it's a hammer. It's nothing
Does it
special.
look like it's like two parts, or was it like carved as one?
It's two. That's the freaky part. It looks like a hammer you'd see anyway. It's like just complicated. It's not like it's carved as one, but it's like well worn, like almost down to the nub.
Um, so sorry. So it is two pieces that were like it looks like it's two pieces. I'm gonna try to
Um,
pull the hammer off.
okay. You pull it out. It is just a hammer. It's two pieces. You can buy one at the market. Yeah,
Interesting.
yeah. It slides out surprisingly well from that arm.
I gently set the hammer down and then try to lift the arm up. Is it like as heavy or lighter?
Well, you tell me. Is an arm heavier than a head? Yeah.
Oh, actually, is it a child-sized arm? Because I
It's
was
a child-sized
imagining.
arm. Yes.
Okay, then yeah, it wouldn't be heavier than a head. This is a little disturbing, but I fear this will also fetch a good price, and I'll put it in my sack, like, but not like I left the hammer on the floor.
um. Yeah. So I think if the two of you will move on with those pieces. All right.
Well, if she's leaving the hammer on the floor, I'm going to try to pick it up.
It's Thor's hammer. You're not worthy.
No, everyone's worthy to pick up this hammer. It's no meow meow. So I just, yeah, no, it is just a regular hammer. I think you keep going down, yeah, the cavern. Again, it keeps kind of opening up, and again, there's more paths, but you can kind of see it's almost like the red clay is directing any of y'all. And I think you can see like, okay, I think for you, Mahara, you still hear just like the steady, it's a steady rhythm, but for you, Eli, you start hearing two speeds on top of each other. You just hear and also this as the two of you kind of get deeper.
It sounds like we're getting closer to whatever is making the sound.
Does it? It sounds almost the same to me.
No, listen to it.
She stops and tries to listen. Do I hear the second beat now, or
No.
no?
It's faster, or there's another one that's faster.
And she gives you like a quizzical look, like what?
Eli, when do you realize that your heart is beating in sync with the accelerated tapping?
I guess while we're being really quiet, while I'm trying to get her to hear it, the extra sound, I think that's when I realize it.
Yeah, and I think for you, Mahara, yeah, you're still hearing, this regular tapping, but like, go on.
I think what I do is I go to like there's still parts of the wall where it's not the red rock, right? Like it's
Mhm.
just regular granite. So I go, Eli, this is all I'm hearing, and I'll mimic that slow tap.
Just guess your hearing's not so great, huh? Let's keep going.
I think
Okay.
um, I think I'm gonna ask for a ruin roll for that. Since,
For me, okay.
yeah, it's just a
Yeah.
roll of the dark die.
Yeah, I mean, I'm becoming more and more suspicious of her. Like I saw her face down here. She like knows her way around. She's pretending she can't hear this sound. But yeah,
Oh yeah. Yeah, Mahera never explained because when she was doing projecting.
Well, he didn't ask either. So.
No, I thought it was. Yeah, I thought I was hallucinating or something. But now I'm kind of thinking like, what I saw that, and there's all this weird thing, all this happening. Okay, re-rolling. Okay, it's bad when I. It's bad when I roll high on ruin, right?
Yeah, you don't want to roll higher than your current ruin because if you do, it goes up by 1. So you're now on 4. Okay. So
looks like I'm going to be killed by my partner soon.
Geez, so yeah, as you're walking, this tapping is still going on. You see you see new lines of red kind of sprouting through the walls, not connected to the big whorls of bloody red clay. And these thin ones, they're actually like in the light that you two have. They actually shine in the darkness.
If I
And
run a finger along those veins, like what does it feel like? What does it?
it feels like jewelry, and it feels like, actually, I'll describe how this line goes. It's a small one. You can touch the start of it, but it goes up to the ceiling, leading further downwards. You can feel it, and it's ruby. It's it's nice. It's nice ruby. I would say all you have is a well-worn hammer, and you're not gonna get ruby out of the rock. But yeah, it's as if you follow along the ceiling. And do you tell Mahera this is ruby?
Not yet. I'm still just looking at it.
Right. So Mahera, you've seen like you haven't touched the red clay yet.
No, I've been trying to avoid the red clay as much as possible.
I think you do see Eli touching this small red vein that isn't red clay, but you don't know what it is yet.
Yeah. I think. Yeah, I'm getting a little wary of Eli too. Like, is he going crazy all of a sudden? Like, is this too much for him? And I like scout a little bit ahead, still within eye and earshot of Eli, but like just to see if there's anything new. Leave him to his contemplating of red lines.
All right. So, you want to scout and see what's ahead?
Yeah, but not too far where like we disappear from each other's sight or hearing.
Okay. I think you'll see just. I think as you kind of go deep, the cavern goes wide, just a bit wider, and just ahead you will see like almost incongruously what looks like a door, a wall made out of wood and whatnot. It looks like what you see in a mine, a makeshift wall and just a very normal door. And behind the door, you can hear again just a steady rhythmic multiplied by like 100.
Oh shit. Keeping my eye on the door, will back towards Eli and whisper, I think I found the source of that sound.
I don't know if it matters. This is the treasure. I'm just kind of touching the walls.
Treasure. And I look toward. Can I see from just looking at it because I'm now next to Eli, that it's ruby?
Yeah, you can see that it's not red clay. You can see like
Okay.
it's just thin, it's going up and it's leading towards where the wall is. It's widening, so like the mother lode is there.
Right. Well, we don't have the
So the mother
tools.
lode is like where the door
It's
is?
behind the door.
Behind
Yeah.
the door. Okay.
Well, I didn't bring any tools for actual mining. Did you?
I kind of just like rummage in my pack and get out some like just like absurdly like inadequate like hand tools and stuff.
Like good for flecking. Like, get ruby flex.
Yeah.
So you wanna
Good.
you wanna
Yeah,
oh, go on.
I'm gonna kind of start with that hammer that we found and like just I'm trying to think of like what it like just maybe even like a dagger. I'm just like trying to like chip some out with a dagger.
Okay.
And that hammer.
All right. Okay, that sounds like a risk roll. So take a 1 die if you're skilled at this. This sounds like foraging, even if it is for jewels. So you get 1 die, you get another. If either me or Mahera has a devil's bargain.
Yeah, I'll take a devil's bargain on this one.
Okay, so I think Ruby's tough, and you're using an implement that is not meant for daggers, for rubies. I think you can get a bit off, probably like a fairly decent chunk, but it will break your dagger.
Okay.
Okay,
Sounds
so
good.
that's 2. All right, so that's 2 light die. You don't want a dark die, no?
No.
Okay,
No
just
die.
making sure.
So let me see. So since we only have 1 of each on the table,
You can put in another. You can put in another.
Just put-
hit. No.
Okay, so I'll just put in. Yeah. All right, I'll put in 1. Let's see. Okay, good. And then I'll re-roll the. Whoa, where'd it go? Oh, wait. Just bouncing around on my screen here. All right, so
Yeah,
I'll
it likes
just re-roll those 2. Yeah.
It's a 5. You'll get the highest die. So you succeed, but there's a complication. So the complication. Oh, the complication is simple. I think as you're hacking away, I think what's kind of gonna happen is you will get a bit off just as your dagger breaks, just a bit off, just so you know it's ruby, and then the vein, it starts slithering up as if the vein is being pulled into behind the door.
So of course, being a traveler and guide everything, I do have some sort of weapon. It's a small, like a medium length dagger, not like a tiny hidden dagger on her side, and I pull it out, like looking towards the door, because that tapping sound was unnerving to me. I don't think that was a good idea, Eli. There's many somethings behind that door.
Why didn't you want us to go and find what we came here to look for?
Well, I just don't want to encounter what's behind that door that's making those noises.
You just want to come back and keep it for yourself, and I'm gonna go for the door.
I roll my eyes like, oh my god, Ben.
Of course. All right, so it's a fairly normal door, but it is locked. It's a locked door. I don't think anyone who locked it meant for it to be opened.
Yeah, I'm gonna like bash at the at it with a hammer, trying to.
It's funny because I can actually unlock it with my ritual, but I am not going
You
to.
don't want.
Yes, I may have introduced the door to proc that ritual, but if Eli's going to try to bash with the hammer, this sounds like another risk.
Okay.
I don't think there's good. Oh, go on.
Actually, before that, I'm gonna risk it and try to project behind the door to see what's there.
Okay, so you get one die because it's a ritual, but you get a dark die as you perform.
Yeah. And I don't want a devil's bargain yet.
No.
God damn it. No! I fail
Okay.
and my
All right.
thing goes up.
Here, there is a chance to re-roll,
Okay.
but you will add a second dark die. Actually, no, because you have a dark die, you rolled a 6. That means
Yeah.
that it's a success, but your ruin will go up.
Okay, I'll take that.
Okay. All right.
I'll
So
take
ruin
that.
goes up. You will get a success. Don't worry, because you rolled a 6.
Okay.
That's the reason why the dark dice there. They also count. Because
Oh, okay.
otherwise it's pretty dickish to just add a dark die, because
Yeah.
it's an option to add a dark die when you roll. So whatever you get in dark die counts.
But this is a ruin roll, so I have to, or it's a ritual roll, so I have to use the dark die, right?
Yes. Yes. So it'll simultaneously count as a ruin roll and a risk roll. So you got that 6.
Oh, okay.
So you will succeed. No worries. All right. So you're projecting through this door. You want to see what's behind. All right. I'll just read straight from the text. So you project through the door. Just going through. Did you tell Eli this? So technically you project through Eli trying to smash through the door. Okay, cool. So you follow the veins deeper and you find the source of the tapping, and here it is. It's a large cavern, and it's brimming with like veins of red, of ruby and clay, kind of almost interwoven into one. And you kind of see the ceiling as well. It's like covered in jewels and whatnot. But you see the source of the tapping. You see whatever is making the, and times 100, and it is hundreds of them. It's hundreds of masterfully carved stone figures, the size and shape of children, all of them hammering at the earth, just monotonously hammering again and again. As you kind of move through them, and you can see they're all children of shapes and sizes, like, tall ones, small ones, husky ones, thin ones. It's and even as you're looking through, you kind of like, it's almost like you see like some familiar faces around them, although there may be less familiar faces and more like, just, I don't know, you've known what those kind of faces are, when kids are recruited, so to speak, to your cult. So, and you see like this fervor as they learn that this is kind of what they do. Sometimes as you're kind of passing through, there's one hammering again and again and again, and you see their hammer snap, and you see they look at their finger, the snap hammer, and then they just toss it away. And instead of stopping, they start digging at the earth with their fingers. And it's a tapping that it's a rhythm that Eli's familiar of, but you're not. It's the, as they cramming again and again, and you can see their fingers start to break as they dig into the earth, just viciously. Their fingers smash repeatedly against the hard earth again and again, and they start breaking into pebbles.
Does it look like they're just like mindlessly doing this, or that they're trying to get at the ruby lodestone?
I think it looks like they're working, is what they're doing. I think some of them are pulling up bits of clay. I think, yeah, this one is trying to grab through to the ruby.
Oh yeah, are they looking for the ruby or the clay? That's a
Yeah. I think some of them you can see, actually no. Yes, I think some of them are just kind of like slowly sifting out clay. Others are tapping against ruby. So this is quite a sight. I'm gonna need a ruin roll from yourself.
yeah. That makes sense. Now roll low. Yes, roll low.
Yes.
I'm still freaked out and disturbed, but at least yeah.
I think, hold on, I'm gonna, because I've forgotten to do this. This is one thing I forgot. There are conditions that you have to get whenever you and you did bump up a ruin in that previous roll. So I think, okay, you hear this voice. Once you kind of see, once you've gotten used to being in this cavern, you've gotten used to the sights. You hear this voice. I'm not gonna. Oh, okay, actually, this voice is very familiar to you. It's who was like in this cult of yours? Who was your like maternal figure? Who was the one who looked after you? Who you believe looked after you and believed that loved you?
It was the one that tended to punish me, actually.
Ooh.
Because the way they did it was very, like, the whole, like, "This hurts me more than it hurts you" kinda, like, mentality that they would do. Like, for example, what the meditation room, they were always sweet about it, and when they let me out, they were extremely sweet about it, and I always thought, like, "Oh, you reduced the punishment for me," when they really didn't do that. It was, like, all mind games. So, yeah. It took a very long time to realize that that's not what they were doing. But at the same
Yeah.
time, it's it's one of the reasons why I lasted so long, because not many tend to last in this cult.
I think yeah, you hear those familiar commands, those familiar admonitions, those familiar like scolding words. And you can't tell if they're being said to you or to the children. Uh, I think you also notice well the child traveling. Actually, retcon what I said. They're not kind of digging for the veins, they're actually digging into the earth itself. Like this child and you can see their hands are now reduced to, their fingers are now stumps, and they're still kind of scrambling. As you kind of get close, I think, yeah, you can see that one child sees that their fellow stone child is like failing to grab through the earth. So they kind of like almost elbow them and using their hammer to just kind of push away the other one. And the one whose fingers are kind of stumps kind of falls and kind of cracks in front of you. And it's almost like they're trying to feed it up, but you can tell that their hand is about to separate from their arm is about to separate from their torso from where they crack, while the one that replaced them is just digging. And again, it's that back to that repetitive. And the one fallen in front of you is just trying to get up, but it's cracked and broken. You're probably actually, while you're staying there, let's cut back to Eli, who doesn't know any of this is happening and still trying to break down this door.
Yeah. Yeah, so you want to risk roll?
Yes.
Okay. I'll take a devil's bargain.
Okay. You can get through this door, but it is going to make quite a bit of noise. When you do, you're gonna get attention. And I'll be nice and mitigate what kind of attention depending on your role.
Okay. So do I I don't have a skill for this, so do I just roll the 1 for the devil's bargain? Is that?
Yes. If you want to take a dark die.
I can only take 2 more, and we've got a good hour of game ahead of us. So I'm gonna.
Well, you know what? Well, I say we have another hour, but like this game will end when it feels like it's
when
end.
it. Yeah, but I'm gonna hold off.
Okay. All right. I would say cards on the table. We have probably gone further than I expected. So.
Okay. I believe that was a 1.
Okay. So you've got a choice. There is a way to reroll, but you will have to add a dark die.
Okay, let's do it.
If you're unhappy with your reroll, you can add additional dark die to your dice and reroll. So you can you have that one die and use that dark die.
Okay.
Okay, so that's a 6.
Yeah.
So you succeed, but bump up your ruin. So you're now in ruin 5. So you can now reduce your ruin using a reduction roll, but you can only do a reduction roll if you can reduce it by destroying treasure, sabotaging your fellow treasure hunters, or preventing the use of rituals. Try to do this do these acts in a way that does not draw attention to yourself. So basically, the more it looks like an accident or simple bad luck, the better. Each time you do this, you can roll 1 light die. If you get less than your current ruin, you can decrease your ruin by 1. So that is now open to you since you've reached 5.
Okay, so here's what I'm thinking is that, like, I'm trying to bash through, the hammer breaks, so then I get the baby head statue and start using that instead, and that breaks through, but it breaks the statue as well.
Okay. I think you kind of break through the lock. It's an old rusty lock, so you're not going to get attention because you rolled a 6. But because you got a ruin, yeah.
Right. So
Door
do I roll the dark die for the ruin reduction?
Oh no, that oh no, you don't. Oh yeah, you break the treasure. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
All right. Okay. Cool. Roll 1 light die.
Okay.
Roll less than 5. I see. Hold on. Yeah, you got 5 because that other one. You roll less than 5.
It's a 4.
All right. Cool. So you're back to 4.
Okay.
So that's good.
So I think like I come back into my body just as like he's broken through, like
As he's
I'm
breaking the
just
head.
about to, yeah, like I'm just about to grab him and be like no, and then it was like almost too late, like pretty much. I think.
Yeah, and I think when you break the head, Eli, you just feel nauseated. You just feel like vertigo, almost like what you should have felt when you look down that chasm. But you feel unbalanced and sweaty as the door opens, as Mahera just barely manages to barely fails to stop you from breaking the head, and the door swings open, and you see all these children just working their way into the rock.
And they're working with their stone hands. They don't have.
Some of them, most have hammers.
Oh, they do.
But those whose hammers break, they start digging into the earth.
I think I'd just take a hammer from one of these kids and start helping them.
Wow. So Mahara, you see this?
I think Mahara's in shock. Like she's mostly in shock from witnessing it when she was projecting and then hearing the voice of someone she had thought she could have trusted, and now seeing this, it's like, what the hell? What am I gonna do? Shoot. Yeah. Too bad I can't fix the door and just lock them in.
I think Eli, when you try to do this, when you try to grab one of the hammers, this is gonna be risky as well because you didn't see this. Mahara saw this, but when one person just can't do it, another child will just knock them down. You probably walk over the broken, ruined child that Mahara saw, like land on their feet or get broken on their feet. And I think coming close to these children, I think. Let's see. Hold on. I need to reconfirm in the rules. Yes. You're witnessing or undergoing something kind of disturbing. That's kind of like the nausea and the tapping. You can hear all of the tapping now, and your heartbeat is just going. And yes, this is gonna be another ruin roll.
Wait, so just ruin, not risk?
Yeah, just ruin.
Okay.
You started helping these kids, like.
That was a 6 as far as I can tell. So
Okay. I would say you could continue doing reduction even after you drop down from
nah.
the 5 to the 4, but you're back to the 5.
Yeah.
Okay. So you hear. Do you remember your mother's voice? Eli?
I would recognize it if I heard it. I think I've forgotten. I can't hear it in my head. Like I can't reproduce it in my head. But if I heard it, I would know it.
Okay. I think you can kind of get. It's not distinct. I can hear like a murmuring or even a singing, and but you can recognize that voice. It's almost calling to like. It's calling to you in this like soft, indistinct like murmurs. But when you kind of grab the hammer and start working next to these kids, one of these kids kind of turns their head towards you and asks, "Have you come to join us?"
Yes.
We know what it's like, Eli. We know what it's like to be alone, to be so lost. That's why we came here. That's why we're all here. We came here to go back. We came here to be warm and loved again, Eli. You can do the same. You can be here and never be alone.
We belong here, right?
We belong here. Yes, we do, Eli. And then what looks like their head turns and all the other like kids next to you turns and they start looking at Mahera. But she doesn't. We'll cut to you, Mahera. You're seeing this happening.
Can I hear any of that, or do I just hear like muttered whispers?
I think you just hear whisper. I don't even see. You can see like maybe Eli murmuring. And the thing is, this child, their mouth doesn't move at all.
Right. Yeah. Does it? I think Mahara is slowly backing up, back the way they came. Like, it doesn't even try to call it to Eli one more time.
Eli, she will bring more of her ilk, her like. Do you know where she came from, Eli? She came from a place of hate, a place of darkness. You saw it. She loves the dark. She's comfortable in it. Not here in our warm, cozy cavern. She will bring more like her to here.
I think she belongs here too. She's the one that helped me find it. She knew how to get here. She's the one that I wouldn't be here if it wasn't for her. I would have been lost, still lost but in the caverns, just like I was lost above. She can help us. She can help us. She has tools.
Their head cocks to the side, and they look at you and like for like a long pause. Just you can't tell what they're thinking because they're made of stone. And then they nod and they say, "We trust you, Eli. Bring her to us. If she is as you say, she can find a place here. Mother always finds a place for everyone."
Okay, I go after her.
You mentioned in the beginning that we could technically add rituals during the game, right?
Can we?
I thought you said something like that.
I don't.
Or maybe
I don't think I
maybe I
said
misheard.
that.
Okay. That's fine.
Okay. Sorry. You're
I thought I
yeah.
heard that.
Sorry. You're stuck. You're stuck with opening doors here.
Yeah. No, I'm gonna run. like as soon as it looks like the stone, either Eli or the children are looking at me, I'm just gonna book it.
The earth quakes as you try to run, and the walls contract and pulse. Those red clay veins just they undulate in a way that rocks shouldn't as you run. This is gonna be a risk roll.
Okay.
As you try to make your way out. All right, so again, guide. Very good.
I will use the dark die because I'm willing to risk it.
Okay, all right. You don't want a devil's bargain? No?
Yeah, I'll devil's bargain to get, so that'll be 3 die total, right?
Yes. Let me think. What's the devil's bargain? Eli, if you have an idea as well, feel free to chime in on the devil's bargain.
I'd like to see one of those veins burst.
Ooh. Oh yes, yeah. This is what's gonna happen. Yes, those veins will burst and will coat you with the red clay,
Ooh, okay.
and you'll get you'll feel something that will
Okay.
happen regardless if you succeed or not. But you'll get an extra die.
Okay.
So
And
just
I'll
treat.
remind you, I still have if it's
Oh.
still I still have the arm in my back knapsack.
Ooh.
Just yeah.
Yeah. All right.
Adding more fire to it.
Yeah.
Right,
Why do you do this to yourself? That's what I love.
God damn it.
That's what I love about you as a player. Yeah, you're just willing to yeah, come on. All right. Okay. You can re-roll that, but you will add an extra dark die. Oh no, you'll get a 5 anyway, but your ruin will go up. But if you're unhappy with your roll, even though you got a 5, you can still re-roll, but you'll add an extra dark die.
But don't I
You succeed anyway, unless
yeah,
you don't want that 5.
Well, no matter what, I would it's still if I re-roll, that means my ruin will go up to a 6. Because
No, you're not
I'm at
gonna
a 4
take this.
now, right?
Yeah, you're at 4 now. You're not gonna take this increase if you want to re-roll.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that's what I mean. So if you re-roll, there's a chance that those 2 light can get a 6, and you roll low on dark. But that means you're adding an extra dark if you re-roll.
So there's a possibility though of getting the 6 because if I re-roll,
Yeah.
and add dark, yeah. No, I'll keep this because it's still a success with a complication.
Okay, so your ruin goes up to 5.
Yes, that's fine.
And
After all I've seen, yeah.
I think as you yeah, so it has a lot of noise in your head as you're running pell-mell, and there's plenty of light now in these caverns because the veins of red are pulsating, and you can hear just all the tapping. Even though you're running away from the tapping, you just hear like a ba-bum, ba-bum, and ba-bum. That's just like all at once, and it's also mixed in again with your cultist leaders' punishments. What's the punishment that you kept hearing? Like, what's the one you always get?
Beyond the meditation room, it would have been like a litany of like you're worthless kind of words while being like bound to a pillar.
Yeah. So yeah, that just grinds.
That's how, and it's kind of one of the reasons why I learned projection was to get away from that.
Ugh. So yeah, that just grinds into your head. All that noise as you're running, and yeah, the walls get tighter because you forget you got in here through a crawl space. So as the walls kind of slowly get tighter, yeah, one of these veins just bursts, and you're covered in red and clay. And for not a moment, because unlike with Eli, who was brushing their head was brushing against the wall, you're coated in this, and suddenly it just feels peaceful. It just feels nice. Suddenly all the noise goes away. All the grinding elemental language of the earth. Your body's washed in comfort and peace. Nothing hurts anymore. Nothing else matters. Not the children's hammers. Not maybe not the boulder. No, not the children's hammers. Not anything that's hurting you. Not the arm that's come to life, that's trying to strangle you right now. That's gonna crawl out. No, it just feels peaceful. It just feels even if you're just running and you can hear kind of like your heart. You can hear your own heartbeat now. Just and it's steady. It's just as you're probably still running on autopilot. For you, Eli, the earth opens up to you. It opens up new pathways. It almost lets you get ahead. No, it lets you get ahead of Mahera. You can like cut her off. What do you do?
Right. So I kind of just jump scare out in front of her. But I guess she's all calm, so it's not that maybe it's not that bad. And then I put a hand on her shoulder, like, you belong here with us. I can tell. This is our home. You can't leave us.
Okay, I want to do something like I want to do a risk roll using my escaped cultist background as in deception.
Yes.
I'm calm because they made me calm. And so I put so Eli's right in front of me.
Yes.
So I'm going to mimic a movement that the one that I had considered a motherly figure, the elder, and kind of in a motherly way, like wrap my knuckles gently against Eli's cheek. Because I know we need to have more. Don't you want to have siblings?
We have all the siblings I need right here, back in the room. We just need to get to work. You've got the tools.
But some of them are disappearing, and they're disappearing quickly.
No, they said that you would bring people that don't belong. If you go, you have to stay with us.
But I brought you, and you belong, right?
Sounds like the
So,
time for the risk roll.
yeah.
Yeah, you're skilled at deceiving. Yeah, cultist. You want to bargain?
Cultist.
Yeah, escape cultist. Do you want to bargain?
Yes, I'll bargain, and I'm not going to use the dark die this time.
Okay, all right, okay. So the bargain. Ooh. I think what's gonna happen is, well, I'm gonna retcon a bit. The arm isn't going for your neck this time because otherwise they would have ruined this heartfelt conversation the two of you are having. So I'm gonna retcon it a bit. So it hasn't woken up yet, but
Or maybe it went back as soon as Eli showed up.
Yeah, I think you kind of, because you were calm, you didn't know the arm was there, but the arm's still gonna be there, just like when he to strike you. So 2 light die. All right. Hey, so you succeed. Okay, so you're deceiving. What does this look? The two of you, Eli being successfully deceived. Because what is Mahera's plan? Like, what does she want to accomplish, so to speak?
If he'd be one less complication. Like, if he believes me, he'll let me go and maybe, hopefully, convince the whatever to I trust her and maybe I can escape, get through and get to the harness and rope again.
Okay.
But yeah, I was like I said, I was trying to do motherly instincts against Eli and calm, hopefully that will work.
Yeah, I think so. So yeah, I'll stand aside to let her go for at least for the moment.
All right. Well, let me. I think when you stand aside, Eli, and you hear this as well, Mahera, you hear the shrieking of hundreds of children. Just the cries, and you can hear this low voice screech into your ear, Eli. This low voice just going, "We trusted you, Eli. Now both of you will join us if we have to make you." And you hear coming from the cavern this like just the sound of hundreds of stone feet as they flood the cavern toward the two of you. And you can see like you can kind of see in the distance. No, you can't because it's dark, but you can see in the veins the stone children, a wave of them, kind of climbing over each other, trying to get to each of you. And I think Mahera, you got a bit of head start, and Eli's kind of between you and the stone wave.
Right. Yeah. I just keep running. I don't look back.
Eli?
I don't know what to do, so I just kind of stand there and let the wave.
Okay.
Take
First, because this wave is on something disturbing, whatnot. I still want to make you try to do a ruin roll because I want to see what your state is as this kind of wave overtakes you.
Yeah. I don't see where the pip die went. I'm just going to. Can I just re-roll just another one just to?
Yeah. Okay. Go ahead.
We'll just pretend that's the pip die. Okay, 4.
All right. So you okay. So describe to me how Eli feels. As this kind of like.
Yeah, just really conflicted because he thought these were his friends, but also that Hera is his friend or maybe even his mother. He kind of just, I think, panics and freezes and just doesn't try to, just doesn't move or run or anything.
I think, because I think, I think we are kind of wrapping up. Like, we didn't make it to the end, but yeah, what's kind of like, what is the words he hear as kind of like this wave overtakes him? Like, what is?
I think it would be just like, this is your fault. You made us do this. This is why no one wanted you.
I think in that cacophony of angry noise in your head as the wave overtakes you, I think there is a voice that breaks through. And I think it's that warm, fuzzy mumbling that you heard that you know is, you said it yourself. You recognize her voice when you hear it.
Mm-hmm.
And I think you can tell that this isn't some malignant like deception or whatnot. What does your mother tell you as the wave comes over you?
And crushes me to death, presumably.
Presumably, yeah.
I think she says kind of the same thing. Just, this is why I left you.
Oh no. Oh no. Okay. I think Mara, I'm gonna need a risk roll from you if you want to get to that harness
Okay.
intact.
Yeah.
You're traveling through like a path you've already traveled before.
Yeah. So I'm just gonna roll the 1.
Okay.
Fuck.
Do you want to re-roll?
No.
Yeah.
At a
You added
6.
dark
So
die.
no.
Oh, what did you get?
No, I got a 2, but if I re-roll, then I'll put my ruin at a 6.
If you roll higher than your current ruin.
Okay. So then that'll be.
So re-rolling means you add a dark die. to your one.
Okay, so
You
then I
only
roll
get
2.
Yeah, you roll 2.
Okay. Yeah, I'll do it. That's the end.
Good
Let's
luck.
see.
Hey! Oh wait, no, that's still a 3.
Well, at least it
You
doesn't go up.
you can re-roll again, but you got a third. You had another dark die.
Another dark die.
Yeah. You can keep doing this if you want to keep
So
re-rolling.
evil.
You just keep adding dark die after dark die.
Sure. I'm gonna use. All right, so just to separate them. So those will be the 2 dark die.
Mhm.
So the dark die got a 6.
Oh dear. Oh, you can re-roll. No, I'm not. Yeah, technically you can re-roll. You got another dark die.
But I gotta.
But
Yeah.
the thing is, it bumps you up to a 6 in ruin. Here's what happens when you get a 6 in ruin. When your ruin reaches 6, you lose yourself to the wilds that have been growing inside you. You become a twisted monstrosity in service to the forest. This is an important moment. Everyone focuses on your last flashes of lucidity before you either run screaming into the forest depths or turn violently against your fellow treasure hunters. While you're on your own in the dark cavern.
Well, I'm wondering, could it be that I escaped the cavern, but then that happens? Like I escaped
Yes, yeah.
the fate of the stone children. But
Yeah. So with that in mind, why don't you frame this like this escape? 'Cause you did
so
get a 6.
yeah. So it'd be very like Indiana Jones and the big ball kind of thing, like except it's a wave of stone children and probably bloodied now that poor Eli has been trampled to death. Um Like, just as I get to, like I don't even risk putting the harness on, I just start climbing up just as, like, the waves of stone come crashing through the cavern and into that, like, seemingly endless hole. Um, but it seems like this like, the wave but then it seems like maybe they're going upwards towards me as I, like, manage to climb out of just barely with, like, maybe scratches on my legs and everything from the stone children. And there's still technically the arm in my back in my knapsack, but, but once I get onto, like, this onto the red and white sand of the forest floor, like, I throw the knapsack into the down into the hole, and I think I'm safe, but I'm still yeah, I'm just, like, breathing hard and just, like yeah.
Yeah, so what's the last we see of Mahera if she succumbs to like this ruin in her?
Um, I think, like, the sounds of the children, seeing how quickly Eli got turned and, like, the whole fact that I deceived him and pretty much sent him to his fate, like, just kinda gets to me, and I hear that tapping everywhere, and, I do every um, sorry, I'm getting it's, like, forming in my head. Uh, I'm hearing the tapping, and I'm trying to keep evading from the tapping. But it's it's like I hear it against all the trees and everything. So instead of becoming one of the stone children who digging into the earth underground, I'm scratching at the trees trying to get the tapping to stop. Like maybe if I take the bark off the trees, I won't hear it anymore. And I kind of lose myself into doing that, like in the forest. And no, because I never come back, the company that hired me just thinks, "Oh, they ran off."
There we go, a quintessential sad, tragic trophy ending for both our players. Both are fantastic players. Thanks very much, Dan and Quint.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, that
That
was
was
good.
very creepy.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll do some like proper debrief once I stop the broadcast. We'll talk about what you
Okay.
like and what I could do better, because I feel like this is my first time running this, and I'm planning on running more writing thing for it. But we'll talk about it after broadcast. But for now, I'm gonna stop again. It was fun. You folks were fantastic. I hope you had a good time. Hope anyone watching this had a good time. If anyone's watching, again, Trophy can be found in Codex Dark 2. Find it in the Drive Through RPG. Written by Jesse Ross. There's lots of like different supplements. Mother can be found at Codex Screams. There's other stuff. There's an Oz themed one. The most recent one is all about moss and creepy crawlies and churches, apparently. There's one in the sand. The one I'm writing is basically Dark Souls. Um, uh, watch out for that sometime in the future. But yeah, I'll stop the broadcast. Links down below, everything. Again, fantastic from our two players. So stop now. Bye, YouTube.